Hey Simon Kid subscribers, today we're going to draw a deer from my picture book. Share some kindness, bring some light, and all you need is a piece of paper and some crayons and maybe a black marker. Let's get started. So Christian and I are going to draw the baby deer from Share Some Kindness, Bring Some Light. And Christian, what grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade.
Awesome. Okay, so Christian thought this would be a good animal to draw, and I think so too. And rather than doing it on just a regular sheet of paper, we've taken a piece of cardstock and folded it in half so that when we're done, it can be a card that we can give to someone. So we're going to start by drawing with our light brown. So we have a light brown that looks like this, and we have a dark brown that looks like this. And then we have a gray and a pink and this blue, and right here a green. And then we both have a black marker. So we're gonna start with some really light sketches, and we're gonna use a line that's a whisper line. Show me what you think a whisper line looks like. You can show me on our scrap paper right here. Right, you can barely see it. And this is what I would call like that's a really screaming line. That's a screaming line. And this is a whisper line. So we're not gonna break our crayons, right now. We're gonna do little whisper lines. And we're gonna draw the biggest shape first. What do you think the biggest shape of the baby deer is?
The body.
Yeah, I think maybe the body and the head. So how about for the body, and we're just gonna be super, super light. We're gonna draw a little circle right here. And look at how light that is. You can probably barely see it. I'm gonna do mine a little bit darker so that they can see it on the video. You do yours nice and light. And then above it, the head has a long skinny neck, and the head is kind of like a circle right here, right? We have to leave room for his ears. So leave room for his ears and draw his head about right there. And we're doing it light so that when we come back, if we want to change something, it's no big deal. And then his ears on his head kind of come up from the side right here, and it's like almost like a sunflower seed shape right here. Nice. And then it's over, his other ear's connected to his head right here, and it kind of cocks off to the side. And it's about the same size like that. And then right here, I'm gonna do his nose. And for right now, we're just gonna do like a little blob. And we're gonna turn it into more of a triangle shape, but for right now, it's a blob. And look at how far down on the circle it is. It's not in the middle of his face. It's like way down here. Nice. And then right here, we're gonna connect his head to his body with his long skinny neck. And we're gonna do that by just, I'm coming in a tiny bit from the side of his head, and then I'm doing a line down like that. We're gonna do his little legs, and for right now, it's just gonna be like this. And see how I just made like a little rectangle? Just like a long oval, actually. Good, and it came up on his body just like that. That's perfect. Okay, and we're gonna kind of plan where we want his eyes to be. His nose is pretty long, so I'm gonna start by just doing a line right here. One eye is over here, and see how it's kind of off to the side? And then his other eye's like right here. And we're not going to worry about making it perfect. We're just kind of planning out about where it's going to go. Okay, now we can start adding in some more of the details. And his little mouth, it's connected to his nose. So first let's kind of shape his nose a tiny bit. We're going to do that by making like a little V right on the bottom of his nose. That's perfect. And then I'm going to just scoot it over right there. And then right here, I'm going to connect from the bottom of that V. I'm going to do, in the book he looks pretty sad on this page, but we're going to make ours a little bit happier. So did you see how I drew that line and then I kind of went over like that? And then his chin is pretty close to the bottom under there, just like that. Now we can kind of look at our drawing and see, is everything about where we want it? Do we want to move anything? And I think I want to change the way his neck goes right here. I'm going to make his body a little bit skinnier right here. But you can look at yours and see if you want to change anything. And I think right here on his ears, I want to make sure his ear goes like that and then comes to like a nice point. You already have that on yours. And then you can kind of see the fold on his ear where it's the outside comes to the inside. And right here you can do a little line like that. And then you can make a line like that. That is perfect, buddy. And we'll do the same thing on this ear. It kind of goes like that, and then it goes up like that. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, so now we're gonna add a little with our marker. And for the marker, we're kind of just gonna, do a few little details. So we're using a Sharpie, but you can use like a Crayola marker or a washable marker. So take your Sharpie, and I'm gonna start by tracing that V that we put on the bottom of his nose. And then rather than color his whole nose in, we're just gonna do lines like this, and it'll leave a highlight on the top of his nose. The top of his nose we can just whoop, go like that. Okay, awesome. And then right here on his mouth, here's a little trick. When you do a smile, you can do a little tiny circle on the end and then pull it in, and it makes it look like he's really smiling. Oh, that nose looks so good. And then see how it his nose, it kind of goes off his snout right there. So we're not worried about making this line as long as this one. It's a little bit shorter to show that his snout is kind of coming off of his face. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, and then right here for his eye, I'm gonna just do a little circle first, and then a little circle right here. And then right over the circle, I'm gonna do a little line that goes like that. And the same thing over here. And then right here, we're just going to show the bottom of his chin. Okay, now we can take our dark brown and we can outline these lines a little bit on the edges. And we're doing two things. We're defining the edge on top of our sketch, and we're adding a little bit of texture so we can make the baby deer look like he's furry. Like he's got some nice soft fur. And then right here on the side of his face, I'm going to do a line from his ear down, and then kind of like that. Christian, that looks awesome. He's really cute. And then the side of his face in this picture, his head is kind of tilted away from us. That's why his mouth was a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to do a little line right here and then make this connect like that. Does that make sense? So then it looks like he's kind of got his head tilted away just a tiny bit. Okay, and then we'll define his neck a little bit more, make that line. We have a little friend in here with us. And then the same over here. And then his little legs as he's coming up out of the snowbank. And then before we get too much further, we're gonna do our little border at the bottom. And we want it to look like he's in the snow, but we also, we're gonna kind of define the bottom right here. And we're gonna do that by putting some like little evergreen branches. And I'm gonna start with a line like this, just do a couple. And then off to the side, I'll go like that. Okay, so inside of his ear, we can take our pink and color a really dark, really screaming pink right here next to where his ear starts, and then just kind of fade it out like that. Okay, so parts of the deer are white, and that's what's really going to make him look like a deer. So right here around his mouth, we want that to stay white, and underneath his mouth. So you can kind of mark that right there. And then around his eye, it kind of goes down like that and around. And then on his ear, we'll have to just kind of remember, because it's going to be hard to see, like there and there. We're not going to color that part in. It'll stay white there. So we'll just kind of have to remember that. And then the last part is right here on his belly and under his leg. Okay, right here under his chin, we can take the dark brown. Oops, sorry, yours rolled away. It went on an adventure, just like the baby deer. You can take the dark brown, and because we want it to look like it's in shadow. And we're just gonna lightly color in everywhere else. Okay, and now we're gonna layer the light brown on top of it, and it'll really pull all of it together. So we can do it like that. And the top of his head, I'm just gonna do a little bit lighter to show that the light's hitting him there. That looks great, Christian.
Thank you.
And then,
looks great too.
Oh, thank you. Then right here, I'm gonna do it dark and then blend it into the pink right there. I'm gonna make, I lost that line a little bit, so I'm gonna make this line right here where his leg is a little bit darker. And you can kind of look at it now and say, is anything on this not quite making sense? And then we want to show that there's a little bit of shadow right here, so you can take your gray, just really light, do a little tiny shadow right there. And I think I want to add a little bit to my branches, so now is the time to do that too, if you want your branches to be any bigger. And then I'm going to take my gray marker again, and I'm going to do little snowflakes so that our deer is in the winter time. Oh, that looks awesome. Okay, perfect. And here you have it, 2 great deer, baby deer, that look a little different because they're done by 2 different artists, and I think they are both awesome. Good job.
Thank you.